Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And we've got to address the big news that broke last week.
Oh gosh, yeah, it would be last week at this point. I'm putting myself into the future and we're editing the podcast. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Kody Brown. Do you remember the name of the show, Carly?
Nope.
Yeah.
Special Forces.
Special Forces.
I mean, it's really taken me a lot to remember that.
He's joining the cast, season 4 of Special Forces on Fox.
A show we've never watched before.
No, but now we're seeing clips. People are cluing us in because we've been talking about it on the Patreon. We've been talking about it on the Discord. We went live on Patreon, which we'd never done before, so that was interesting. Interesting experience.
I think it was a success.
I think we accomplished what we were setting out to accomplish, which was immediate reactions, what's going on, and everybody was able to talk about their predictions, what they were expecting, the reasoning. There are a lot of feelings. There's a lot of theories as to what's going on here, what this means for Kody Brown in particular, and Robyn and her doll collection. What does this mean for spending purposes? And
how did Kody get past Ari just to get out of the house?
He went to Morocco to film this? There
are a lot of questions that we're going to need answered, and I'm not sure that Special Forces is ready to dedicate that time to the Sister Wives fans.
Right, especially with we don't know how much screen time Kody's going to get, 1, and then 2, we don't even know how long he's going to be on the show because he could be asked to leave by the producers of the show, the creators of the show, or he can quit and tap out himself.
Well, you can voluntarily tap out. You could be medically removed. You could be asked to leave, and you could be disqualified. It seemed like that's what I've gathered from the wiki page. But we're going to be in a crash course because we will be, of course, watching and recapping at least the episodes Kody's in. We're going to see how invested we get in Special Forces. We may do the whole thing. We'll be forced to do the whole thing if he makes it to the end.
I really don't think he's making it to the end.
You don't think the over-under on that's
good? I really don't think so. I don't think he has it in him.
He's going to fail all of the team challenges. Anything where he has to work with anyone or there's a leader that needs to be established, he's going to decide that he is the right person for that job, and then he is going to completely fuck it up.
Yeah, but in his own special way, I think. So that'll be what makes Special Forces extra special this season. I really hope that Gabe does his watch-alongs or whatever he's going to be doing too. He was polling. I think that was on Instagram.
Yeah, don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah.
We want to see those reactions.
I'm down to watch Gabe watch Special Forces for every second of that.
That starts September 25th on Fox, and we'll be dropping those recaps right here in this feed.
Yeah, I guess once Kody leaves at some point, we'll decide if we continue it on. Maybe we'll shift it over to Surviving Reality. So then it's pieces, parts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. See how it plays out. See how long Kody lasts.
Ooh, I didn't like that sentence.
Oh, well, I feel like that was what was coming up a couple of times in this segment here, was because Christine kept talking about, the chapter that we're discussing today for the Becoming Sister Wives, #1 New York Times bestseller from Robbie Brow, The Story of an Unconventional Marriage. Chapter 7 is Christine's sorority segment. And it seemed like there was a good bit of identity crisis here, a lot of soul searching, and then just any sorts of connection, just starving for connection with Kody Brown.
A lot of naivety, if you will.
Naivete.
A little bit of ignorance mixed in there. And ignorance is bliss. That's what we learned from Christine's chapter.
It is for a while. It can be. It can be good until it's not.
The first alarming thing is that Christine points out she didn't know Kody. Once again, this is a man who I've married. I don't know who he is. Isn't that also the same crisis that Janelle faced?
I think everybody kind of who marries Kody goes through that phase. Maybe not Meri. Did Meri? I don't think so.
So don't they all come full circle then? Because eventually, at the end of their marriage, they go, who the bleep did I marry?
Yeah.
I don't know this person.
Again.
You never did. You didn't know him from day one.
You didn't know. You thought you got to know, and then turns out you still didn't know.
She also didn't really know how hard polygamy was going to be. Like, she grew up around a lot of plural families, and she thought she was pretty well versed in the plural family universe, but then actually doing it turns out to be a lot more difficult, especially when you were sold a bill of false goods about what this family was going to be like.
But then she admittedly goes and sells that same bill of false goods to Robyn later down the road.
That's the price you pay to join this family. In the words of Ethan Platt.
Oh boy, that's the price you pay for being part of this family.
Can you sing Keep on the Sunny Side now?
Keep on the sunny side.
You got to go like a couple octaves deeper.
Always on the sunny side.
There you go. You really got to get all groggly down there. Probably better for my voice.
I was going to say, if you're missing out, though, we are recapping Welcome to Plathville over on Surviving Reality, so make sure you're checking those out. Season 7, The Gift That Keeps on Giving. But now we're Chapter 7, Christine, yes. See the tie-in? We're back. This was a lot of the naivete, as you mentioned, because then Christine's even talking about like her parents, seeing the relationships that were emulated for her. Didn't really see a lot of conflict resolution growing up. She didn't know that her parents even fought or had disagreements until they got divorced one day.
And then she realized they definitely fucking hated each other.
See.
So there were problems, but they were just really, really good at pretending that nothing was wrong.
But then what bothers me about that is then Christine's lesson that she learned was, if you have a problem, put a smile on your face and don't let it show. Pretend like everything's fine. Okay, well, ultimately that leads to divorce. That was how your parents did that, and it didn't end well. So maybe, is there a better way we could go about this?
There were no lessons learned.
Well, that was her takeaway. Put a smile on your face and brush it to the side. Ignore. Suppress.
Was it a lesson or more it was just the way life was lived in her household? So she just went on doing that. Much in the way that Meri's household must have encouraged other people to berate your roommates and sister wives.
There's a heaviness.
Janelle's the roommate.
There's a heaviness, a tenseness that enters the air, thickens when you enter a room, Meri, and it bothers me.
I don't like that all throughout this chapter, Christine blames everything wrong on herself.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too.
Because we're only on the first page. This is page 136. If I was naive, it was because I chose to be.
Chose to be? Well, I mean, part of it is just your general upbringing, I suppose. Like that, you don't really get a say on how you're parented necessarily and things like that.
Yeah,
so
she doesn't really have a lot of tools to enter the world or know what to expect. But then you're going to blame yourself. You're 20 years old.
I mean, I guess there is a level of personal responsibility for some things, but then I think if we're referencing it back to Janelle was frustrated with Christine for not knowing how to pay bills or how to put gas in a car and things like that, just functional adult things.
But do you see what I'm saying? How are you then going to blame yourself and say, well, I was just choosing to be naive? Were you taught to do things like this and how to handle problems and you chose not to walk through the world that way?
You're actively avoiding learning how to do those things because you just can't be bothered with it.
I can't learn anymore.
I'm at an age where I can't learn things.
I feel that in my bones. I don't think I could ever go back to school.
No, I'm not going back to school, but I learn things all the time.
Against my will.
Yeah, well, I seek it out sometimes.
It's part of being an adult.
Yeah, you have to.
I love how it does not take long for the way Christine was raised, right? To just pretend everything was fine, put a smile on your face. Being married to Kody Brown, that very quickly eroded and she just couldn't do it anymore.
She was completely overwhelmed. She was not able to just cover her problems with a smile. They were not going away. So, that's not working.
And now she's got to compete with this baby.
How do you compete with Kody's firstborn son, Logan? Because everything in this family should be about Logan. I mean, I agree with that. But, I mean, how do you do that? How do you compete with Logan? That's not fair.
Nothing is more on brand for a sister wife than to be jealous of a baby.
I think it was less about being jealous of a baby necessarily.
That's how I'm choosing to take it that way.
That's how you're deciding to perceive this here. I think it was more about the fact that Christine didn't feel like she had her own identity in this family, because then she was talking about how they were building their family identity and they were all forging ahead, making this, what is it? It's great culture is what it is in a corporate sort of mindset. They got a real good culture of brewing here. It's like working at Google.
I don't think it's anywhere like working at Google.
With less cool stuff, I guess. Got any of those sleep pod rooms for brainstorming and for meetings?
Did they take a lot of that stuff away?
Oh, probably.
I feel like once everybody went home and had to work from home, they were like, sell this stuff. We don't need it anymore.
We're not doing this anymore.
And then they said, come back in. We're not going to offer you the same type of exciting benefits that you had before.
Yeah, that's true. That's usually how that goes.
Here's a pizza party.
Good luck.
Maybe a pizza party would have gone a long way.
I
if
feel
Kody
like
would have had one for the family.
she could have solidified her own stance if she was organizing a regular pizza party.
I think the problem is Janelle is taking all the identities. Janelle has a job. She's the working lady. Janelle has a baby. She's the mother. She's the mother of the firstborn son. She can have intellectual conversations with Kody on whatever level that he is capable of having them.
Yeah, that's putting a lot on Janelle.
Christine's strength is that she's not Meri.
That is a big plus.
She really needs to embrace that.
She needs to lean into that more, because then the issue that she's realizing is, still don't know Kody, though, because, yes, he's a complete stranger.
How could she? Because she comes into this family. She lives in the house with them, this really small house, for the first 3 months. Janelle has already had Logan.
Well, this is where the cottage comes in, because Christine needs a cottage to get to know Kody. They haven't had enough time, one-on-one alone time, to get to know you.
And she said, this place is too small. This baby is crying all night.
You're going to hear...
I need to get my own house.
I need some distance, some separation. I don't want you guys hearing everything that's going on here about what I'm about to learn about Kody.
You know, she's trying to be a freaky bitch, and this baby is a cock blocker.
I mean, that's what's going on. That's what it comes down to, pretty much. These walls are thin. We need some space.
I don't even think it had to do with the baby. It didn't have to do with baby Logan. Baby Logan was a perfect angel. It's because she can't handle living with Christine and Meri with Christine. She can't handle living with herself. That's true.
That is true.
But especially Meri and Janelle and the tension between the two of them.
If she can't stand living with herself, it's probably her own fault, too. That's usually what it comes down to.
She's got to fix that within herself, and then everything will be better. Get right with yourself and with God. That is the theme of this chapter.
That is what she claims to be the answer here later. But I think what we're finding out is then when she is learning about Kody, she's learning that, he doesn't know how to listen to me, but I think maybe just in general.
That's why I'm worried for his time on Special Forces.
There's like auditory processing issues that we have.
Is he going to take direction very well when they start explaining a challenge?
I don't think so.
And you have to remember all the steps of what needs to be completed?
Yeah, it's like Mr. Andrews giving verbal instructions to Rose on the Titanic of where to find Jack, where he's handcuffed in the lower sections of the ship.
Wow, the stakes are high on that example.
And then your eyes glaze over every time and you go, I wouldn't be able to find you. And I say, yep, that'd be the end of me.
That's true.
I would be handcuffed.
I would have gone down with the ship searching for you.
Oh, boy. Well, that's comforting.
I never would have gotten there.
No, we wouldn't have got out.
I never would have been able to use that axe.
That's true, too.
You know that. Is it better that I find you or that I don't?
Probably, yeah. I don't know.
Find you and leave you locked?
I'll bleed out from losing a hand. I'll be drawing a stump out of the handcuff. I did like that their first argument as a married couple, and then ultimately their last argument as a married couple, was about how he divided his time unfairly amongst his wives. So I thought that was fitting.
Problem from the beginning.
Yeah, you can't say. Or maybe
a problem for just Christine. She just nagged him too much about where he was spending all of his time.
I think Christine had standards. Well, she had expectations, and then she had standards. And so that was something that she always held on to, and Kody was really hoping that he would be able to just convince her to just let that stuff go.
I'm a little conflicted about this complaint, though, because he has a newborn baby.
You think he was spending more time with Janelle, is what you're arguing here? I think that maybe Meri would still be a factor.
I'm thinking he should be spending more time with Janelle and the baby, but given his track record and what we saw happen with Truly, I'm guessing you're right that he was probably just cruising around downtown Wyoming somewhere.
Yeah, his 10 hours. Wendy's. He wasn't getting paid for those 14-hour work days by the hour.
Enjoying the peace and quiet in the car.
He's trying.
The sound of the tires on the pavement.
I think that lends credence to then Christine's argument that Janelle is the most employable member of the family. I didn't really know what that meant, but now when we're looking at Kody's work history, that is making more sense, I suppose. She was able to get the best jobs. So
that's such a good excuse.
The best.
I'm going to use that at some point. What? Get ready for it. You're going to get the best jobs.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, the job that you get would be so much better than any job that I could ever possibly get. So maybe you just get
It's just not worth me even doing a job.
I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not going to apply because the jobs, they're not going to be that good. So maybe you just apply for more better jobs, most employable.
And I'll stay home and take care of beautiful baby Logan that I'm extremely jealous of.
It'll give me time to get on the same page. We'll be able to, maybe by osmosis of some kind, I'll be able to imprint on Kody.
We're going to work out a deal between me and the baby.
Yeah. It's going to, by association, Kody's going to want to spend time with me because he wants to spend time with Logan. This works out.
That's a loophole.
Yeah.
That's one Robyn should have thought of. Well, I guess it didn't matter because he wanted to spend all the time with her anyway. So we needed another wife to take all of Robyn's kids. Was it all of the kids or was it really just Saul and Ari?
They didn't exist yet.
No, eventually.
Oh, eventually, yeah. I think Kody wanted to keep having kids and he ran out of wives who wanted to have kids with him. So I think that was the main reason for Robyn. He wasn't done having kids. So that was the big push.
Now he's got to go on special forces to be able to send those kids to college. So
that must be it.
Karma gets you eventually.
Yeah. Well, Christine's not only trying to mend fences here with baby Logan, she's also trying to fix everything amongst her sister wives. She's the peacemaker. She's garnering truces, some ceasefires.
She's the lovable idiot that brings joy to the house.
And she can get them to stop fighting. She can jump between Meri and Janelle and make them forget how angry they are at each other. Is that kind of what's going on?
Honestly, I feel like babies started being born and they didn't have the time to focus on fights with each other anymore.
Didn't have the energy. Yeah. Like the mental capacity to stay in a fight for an extended period of time.
I got bigger problems than Meri now.
Yeah. And I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. Got to get some sleep here while I can.
Christine has fallen pregnant as well. It only took 3 months into the relationship.
They're putting that cottage to work.
Yeah. Day one, man. That was just like the rental when they moved to Vegas. Kody loves to christen a new home. That's what we're learning.
Whew.
So she's taking care of Logan while she's pregnant, and she's not really having a great time because she's also realizing that she's kind of lost her identity in all of this, which is also the same thing that Janelle was going through. And she goes on to describe that she's living somewhere far away from home for the first time ever. She's away from her family and friends. A lot of the same type of isolation that Janelle also experienced at the beginning of this marriage. Is that a big red flag for us for plural marriage?
It just continues to be, well, I think it's just because nothing gets addressed. So like if you are having issues or if you are feeling a certain way where you are not wildly optimistic, blindly positive about everything that's going on in your life at every moment, then you're just a drain. You're a downer. You're a detractor from the success of the family. And so it's kind of pushed to the side.
It does kind of feel like there's a real loss of autonomy coming into a family because you're having to adapt to the way other people live. And it's just interesting because Janelle lived on her own previously. She had a whole other husband. She's kind of done life a little bit herself. Christine has not. And yet she's still experiencing this same difficulty as she starts to find her footing in this relationship.
Well, the interesting part too, I think, was noticing that Christine had been so obsessed with being a third wife because she wanted all of the difficulty of polygamy to already be done and over with when she joined the family.
Yeah, that's some shit, isn't it? That was the reason she wanted to be the third wife. So she'd be the last one as well, which is a real assumption on the number of wives that one would take. But like you said, that they would have just figured all the other problems out. I think part of the problem was that she didn't wait long enough for Janelle and Meri to do that.
Well, and they weren't going to. It was falling apart.
It was probably never going to happen.
It was going to crash and burn
but
without
also,
her.
She's only married, like a year after Janelle married Kody?
Well, and then she's stuck in that too, because now you're in the mess. You're in the shit with them because their relationship is a wreck. So then that's probably bringing you down a little bit too, you think?
Do you think that Meri was bringing the whole mood of the whole house down?
It's been mentioned.
I mean, that would be so uncomfortable to have to live with two people who hate each other. And previously, you knew that maybe there was some tension, but you didn't know the extent of it. And now you have to live in this teeny tiny house with them.
I like that the lesson was from her friend. There's a phone call conversation that takes place shortly after Aspen was born, where the friend was basically telling Christine, don't change, don't mope, don't try to be anyone different. You be you.
That seemed like good advice, but that's not really how Christine interprets it. She decides that means I just got to be happy. I can be happy if I want to be happy.
Yeah, I didn't like that. The interpretation was a little bit off. I did like that there's maybe an internalized message of don't try to be anyone different, meaning when Kody tries to make you be like Robyn soon at some point, do not give in to that. Christine, you be Christine. Don't be anybody else.
Except when Meri tells you to be like her when you're using the kitchen.
Well, I think Christine and Meri got along. They agreed on a lot of
These
kitchen
two
points.
Were besties in the beginning. I think that's one of the most interesting parts of the book that I really want to know more about.
Because then she's talking about, Meri and Janelle did not have a relationship at all, period. So now it's up to Christine to join this shit show of a family and make the best of it. That's what she's coming to terms with here. So she's going to try to make it better in any way that she possibly can, even though, again, she still has an idealized version in her mind of what this sister-wife relationship was going to be like. And now it is not like that.
It's very, 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 very different.
Not what she expected. Not the easy coasting third wife experience that she thought she would just drop into and experience all the joys of polygamy and none of the strains and stresses.
All this really did, though, was establish a bond between Meri and Christine, but then make Janelle feel like a third wheel, which she felt like in her chapter was attributed to being the only wife with a baby at that point. But it sounds like maybe more the truth of the matter is that Christine's personality didn't really jive with Janelle's.
Yeah, I don't think they really hit it off initially.
Janelle has an issue. Everybody describes her as very reserved, and it sounds like it makes it very hard to get to know her.
Well, and I think that was the other lesson that Christine's learning as part of this process too. Friendships are not instantaneous. So this is something that takes time and effort to continue to grow these relationships as the years go by, while we're experiencing all of this chaos of adding more and more children to the family, growing the family, and
dealing with Kody.
It's just,
moving houses,
moving again. Yeah, all the upheavals that they have to face in their life, which tend to all come at times whenever they feel secure, whenever they're feeling like, okay, things are pretty good.
Everything's good. This is perfect.
We're pretty established. I'm feeling equal with my sister wives. Here comes a big curveball, a life-changing event that's going to take place now.
I thought the story that she told about losing weight after having Aspen and then having to go out and go shopping was really weird. I almost skipped over the entire thing until you get to the part where Kody decides he does not care how much this outfit costs. He's going to buy it for Christine, even though it's more money than they've ever spent even on rent.
Because they are, quote, as financially secure as a group of teenagers, was what Christine described.
But remember how they keep talking about how Kody really cared about how you looked?
And he does care a lot about what these women wear. He was very wardrobe focused too. In the book, that was his descriptors for when he met them and things. It was very concentrated on the clothes that they were wearing as well. So maybe this was finally a chance to get Christine out of her frumpy attire and finally get her in $100 dress, which, gosh, in the early 90s, what's that adjusted for inflation?
I don't even want to know. But they didn't even have rent that was more expensive than $100. I want to know more about that.
Janelle's the landlord, so...
Oh, that's true. They're getting a steep discount.
The friends and family discount, yes.
It was just a weird story to include in here.
Oh, it was... I didn't like the description of moments like this proved the possibility of a fun and tranquil plural family was indeed within our reach. Kody forcing you to buy dress.
It wasn't just Kody. He had Janelle's
Kody and
backing.
Janelle. Yeah.
Janelle was willing to spend the money on this also.
And she's in charge of the financial decisions.
That must tell you how good Christine looked in this.
They were working on baby number 2. That was what we were getting at here. But it's difficult because the living situation is still very stressful. Close quarters, adding more children into the mix. Tempers are rising. Kody decided they needed change. So this is the big move.
Where they're moving to Utah.
Yes.
I'm so thankful that as we get further into the book, we're moving past things because we've had to hear Meri's entire story of all the times they moved. Janelle's story of all the times they moved, which then reiterated some of the stuff that Meri said. So I'm very thankful to be at Christine's chapter where the first big move is to Utah.
We're kind of, cruising through in some of the spots.
I didn't need to hear any more about Wyoming.
No. And like I think the other part of it too is the new larger house. So it's literally giving them everything that they need right now at this point in time. I'm just thankful that they did describe out which one, because for a few of these instances that then they're describing, it's like, wait, which one is this? Which move?
Can you give us a map? Like we need pictures of the houses,
like
descriptors
timeline
of the move, where you moved from, then where you moved to after this.
Because I think there was like pregnancies that Christine was mentioning later. I was like, which pregnancy are we talking about? Because there was a couple in between. I think they talked about Aspen's and then McKelty's, and then we didn't talk about anybody else's. And then she's mentioning Truly's the pregnancy with Truly. And so then it was like, wait, there was a couple in between there. But okay.
We don't need to hear about all of them.
I don't need to hear about all of them, but I just need to know which one are we talking about? Because you're just saying that a later pregnancy. All right, there's a few to pick from there.
Is this the house in Utah that we saw at the beginning of the show? This is the one she's talking about?
The new larger home. Yeah, I think so. Where Christine and Meri's friendship really blossomed in the Americana crafting room.
Yeah, they have the crafting room. So they're there crafting and cooking and planning family events and taking pictures, doing all the things that Janelle does not excel at.
While Janelle is at work, funding all of these things.
Sewing matching outfits for their kids. I gotta tell you, when you think about the ideal sister-wife relationship, this is what they make it out to be.
It was knocking hips in the kitchen, I think. Was that it?
Bumping hips.
Bumping hips in the, knocking boots in the kitchen is what Christine's doing.
That's the way Christine prefers it.
Look out.
So things are looking up. They're living in Utah. They got this bigger house.
The relationship with Kody is improving too. What I noticed here in that description was that we were happy. We were happy parenting. We were happy working. Things were good. So then Christine's relationship with Kody improved as well. Because if things are good, then yes, things get better with Kody. That's good. That becomes the association here.
Well, because there's less weight on Kody's shoulders, right? There's less complaints that he has to deal with. He's not having to make other people happy because they're currently happy.
Part of that. And then also it's just because he's a terrible partner. So like when things are bad, you can't rely on him for anything. So I think that's the other thing that kind of becomes apparent here as part of that description.
And his problems become your problems.
Very much so. Yeah, very quickly too. But again, they're having babies. The joys of growing their family have now trumped any domestic issues, is the way that Christine describes this.
I really want to know, in the part where she's mentioning they were kind of dreaming up what their family was going to be like and how that was something that led to her relationship with Kody growing more. Did they mean their family unit, or is this once again an example of Kody letting you in and being closer to you if you were thinking holistically of the whole family picture?
Yeah. Did that include future wives at some point too? What was the vision that you guys were sharing?
I don't think there were any future wives on the map, or she would have tried to shut that down pretty early here.
I mean, she mentioned a few that there were mentions of courtings over the years, but nothing had really come up. Nothing really came to fruition from that.
It's one thing to talk hypothetically about something and then to actually experience it.
Yes, and I think that was what Meri learned with the Robyn thought experiment that was going on with Kody, where it started off as this great bonding thing in theory, and then ultimately became a pretty big hurdle that you're going to have to encounter directly.
The next really depressing story that she tells, right? Did you think that too?
Nauvoo?
All of these examples where she thinks that it's demonstrating something impressive to us.
Oh, such a great example of me and Kody's relationship and just the, I guess, endurance that's required for this.
It really showed how little it took for Christine to find some type of scrap to hold on to that things were good or getting better. Because he gets this different job and he has to travel to Nauvoo,
Illinois.
We saw it on the show, very important to the Mormon community. But there's some type of trade show that he has to attend.
Yeah, because at first I was like, he needs to travel for 2 weeks to get there. It's because he's lugging a trailer full of items of some kind.
That she does not specify, just materials and displays.
Yes, it's mystery items in a trailer.
Did you think they were pew-pews?
I don't know if it was that
early.
Yeah, if it was that early in the history here.
I mean, I hope he's not lugging billboards.
Neon signs? Yeah, like what demos are you setting up in Nauvoo? Is there something that you could ship and then you can travel there? So then that way you're not taking 2 weeks?
Is he getting paid for the whole 2 weeks? I'm assuming so.
This is what I'm saying.
Do you get paid overtime to do this?
I don't think you get paid hourly necessarily if it's a sales position too. Usually you do have like some hourly stuff, but then you're mostly commission based if it's sales.
Well, he's going to double dip on this and make this a family vacation with Christine. And she is so enthused about the fact that he chose her to go on this trip with.
He chose her because Meri had been on business trips when he was lumberjacking off previously. Janelle has gone on some business trips with him too.
Only the sensible ones that made sense for her to attend, you know?
Yes.
She's not frivolous like
the ones
Meri.
That she was interested in, that she would actually care to go and experience too, even though she did feel left out on the lumberjacking thing. But now Christine gets her moment to shine. And it is a road trip with the Browns. So you can pretty much wrap your mind around exactly what you think that experience would be. And that's pretty much what Christine starts describing here.
This is worse than the move to Utah, in my opinion, because they have 2 small kids. They've got Aspen and McKelty, who they're taking with them, which this sounds miserable, in my opinion. You're going to take 2 small, I'm assuming a baby and a toddler.
Yeah, they didn't say how old, but I mean, they're probably both in diapers still.
And you're going to drive all the way to Illinois from Utah while dragging some goods behind you, and then the car is going to break down repeatedly.
How have we not learned the hauling capacity of the vehicles that we're using? Because I'm sure whatever trailer Kody was hauling was completely overloaded, and that's why you're causing your vehicle to overheat, because it's trying to pull all of this weight that's in this trailer, and it's too much stuff. It's too much. I'm surprised they didn't pop a tire or two as well, because then that was the Flea High move theme, was that everybody's tires were blowing out.
The most upsetting thing about this is that they have to feed the kids ice chips just to keep them from overheating. And so we know that Kody knows that's something that you can do.
Hydration is very important. I wish that he would have learned that and internalized that for later too, because ice chips, it's a great way to keep somebody hydrated if they don't feel like drinking anything.
I mean, clearly Christine is worried about the children either overheating or dehydrating, both.
Yeah.
You know, both big concerns.
It's a real, this is a real
in small
issue.
Children.
But then this is where Christine is pointing out, it's so great. Look at all these hardships that me and Kody had to endure to strengthen our relationship. It's just a highlight, a showcase of how resilient we are as a couple.
No, I'm thinking that Kody only had a good attitude at the end of this trip and was thrilled to have done it with Christine, because he's thinking how much worse this would have been if he had taken Meri especially.
Well, yeah, he was very impressed with Christine's positive attitude because she was relentlessly optimistic this entire time. Any challenge that befell them, she was there with a solution, very quickly, ready for the task here.
But is that because that's naturally her demeanor? Or is it in part also because you already feel like you're special because you got chosen to go on this trip? So now you can't complain when things go wrong, or he might not choose you to take on a trip again.
Right, yeah. If it's a bad time with me, I'm not going to get invited out again.
But she's certain by the end of this, they're soulmates. And that's it. They lived out life they were perfect for a number of years.
We both knew that if and when disaster should strike, we would hold each other, look into each other's eyes, and tell each other that we are glad for every second we spent together. Why did that feel apocalyptic in its description, though? Like, that felt like
I mean, Christine is preparing for the apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like an end times description.
They're always thinking about it.
Pretty much. That's what's going on. That's why she's canning so much.
I thought it was a callback to the Titanic discussion that we had earlier.
Oh, no. Different. Different. That was a different couple, though, in the bed when the water was just pouring in under them.
That's the peak of romance, though, for Christine.
Okay, yeah. Well, that perfect marital bliss lasts for a little bit longer here. And then
the pressure of creating this perfect life is too much for Christine.
You broke Christine.
So she felt like her life was perfect. Their lives were perfect. Everything was going great. The food had to be perfect. The house had to be perfect. The holidays and the celebrations had to feel extra special. And for some reason, the weight of creating this experience is only on her.
You would think that Meri would jump on board with that. That perfection is like, she's right up there with it too. So why wouldn't some of this be on Meri then in some ways? Was Meri holding Christine to that standard of this is the expectation? If things are going to be doing it, if you're going to be in charge for these things, this is how it needs to be?
Like ordering her around instead of being a participant?
Either
in
that,
trying to create it together?
Yeah, or like poo-pooing it if something does go wrong.
Oh, she was definitely
she would
poo-pooing and picking apart anything that was disastrous in her opinion.
That would have to be happening, right?
So you have the extra pressure. If you already feel like you need to be the person who is creating this family experience for everybody, and then you have a naysayer who's ready to pick you apart at any moment.
So not only is Christine doing pretty much everything, like keeping the household running, taking care of all of the practical affairs, everything all the time, but then she also started to teach at their church part-time as well to help supplement the income of the household also.
But that wasn't enough.
No, it never is.
She at one point in this chapter refers to herself as a stay-at-home mom right after saying she had a part-time job. That's a lot. Like, I don't know that you can say that you're staying at home as though you're a full-time stay-at-home mom. Maybe that's not what she meant. But I'm like, I feel like you're selling yourself a little short, girl, because
maybe
a part-time job is a job. And it's taking you away from a big job that you're doing at home, especially with the number of kids that they had.
So there is a breaking point, though, because she gets very overwhelmed, too stressed out.
Hold on. That's not the only thing she does. She's a Sunday school teacher. She then joins the board of the Sunday school and becomes an academic advisor.
Oh, also, her and Kody decided it's time to have another baby, too. So just throw that into the mix. We'll just work that in our free time.
This sounds like shit we would do.
What, just overload? No.
You don't think? I feel like we have periods where we've
done that.
We do way too much stuff at once. And then afterwards we go, wow, that was stressful.
Yeah. And then
I wonder why.
I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to keep doing that. So, I mean, we've had phases of it where, yeah, we'll go through certain waves of intense life stuff that's going on. I think we're able to navigate that okay. And then we learn, don't do that again.
Well, I guess that's the point, right? The lesson is let's never repeat that over again.
And like, I'm not going to add anything else where now like I feel like it backed off a little bit. I don't need to add anything else. Like I needed it to back off a little bit. So I'm okay with that.
That's the point Christine is at. She's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
She has decided to give up all non-maternal duties.
She has been spending so much time working on making other people happy that she has decided she is putting her foot down. This bitch has boundaries and she's going to work on making herself happy. Good. And this is the point in time when Kody starts courting Robyn.
Oh, well, and also it lines up with of course, a devastating argument with Meri. I don't know why that's always an inciting incident for right around the time when Robyn joined the family too.
Well, so Janelle moved out after having a terrible argument with Meri. Now Christine has this really devastating argument with her.
And what was rough about the argument was it was Christine blaming herself for, you know what? I let this build up for too long. I left it unaddressed and then I exploded. So I wasn't coming at Meri calmly and rationally to talk through the differences that we saw here. But Christine was taking it personal, where she was feeling like Meri was too tough on Christine's kids, sometimes with the disciplinary actions that took place.
I think we can all guess which of the kids in particular was maybe the one that was getting it the worst for Meri.
To be honest, can you see Meri getting frustrated with kids and then kind of going overboard on the disciplinary activities at that time?
Well, we've heard some of the stories from the kids of things that happen with Meri, like locking them in their rooms or closets or something. I don't know, something that was not great. I don't know if we really know the extent of it fully, but Christine does not want to deal with it anymore. I think she's kind of right. I don't think you need to blame yourself, but it is a good observation that you now recognize that something was bothering you for a long time, or you avoided dealing with it. And the result of it is that you kind of flip your shit.
Yeah.
And you come at Meri sideways, and it went really, really poorly.
She described it as it shattered her world, because then not only did she realize, hey, I kind of messed up on the way that I addressed this, but also the fact that, I don't really have a real relationship with Janelle and Meri. I've just kind of built this facade up to be agreeable with them, so that way I can live out my fanfic of what sister-wife relationships should look like in a polygamous marriage.
It goes even beyond Janelle and Meri. She's saying just generally other people that I know I have superficial relationships with. I never really get that deep with anybody.
So then she's talking about how, like, the only people in her life that Christine ever let in fully was her mom and Kody. And then she felt kind of a betrayal by her mom during her parents' divorce. So then that felt like that kind of fell apart, which then makes it more heartbreaking to think about, oh gosh, if she still felt that way, and then her and Kody's relationship dissipated too in later seasons, then that's a lot. Because then, are those the only two people in your life that you had those relationships with? At least we were able to see her kind of build that relationship back with her mom later on down the road. But if you're seeing that kind of collapse with Kody, and then he's still one of the only people in your life that you've been that open and honest and vulnerable with, that's very damaging then to have that relationship end in that way.
Well, and you don't even really have a full relationship with Kody if you think about it, because you don't really know him entirely, because there's parts of his life that he can't share completely with you, which are the things that go on in the other marriages.
She didn't even know that he was half a virgin when he married Meri.
Oh my God. You were half a virgin when I met you.
Oh dear.
This is all kind of going on at the same point. She doesn't have a relationship with her mom, with Annie. This big fight happens with Meri, and so she loses her bestie sister wife. And then about a year after that, they meet Robyn. And she's in the midst of saying, I need to step back from all this stuff that became too much for me, but was part of my identity.
And again, this was the upheaval stuff, too, of being the fact that Christine was so comfortable in being the last wife. She loved that aspect of her relationship with Kody. She never felt jealous in her relationship with Kody compared to Meri and Janelle, because she could see everyone had their individual strengths and relationships with Kody, and she was fine with that. Everything was good. She was entirely secure and at peace regarding her marriage, and that's when Kody's saying, it's time to go a-courtin'.
Do you still feel like the reason that things worked out in the way that they did when it was just the OG3 was because he didn't really love any one of them any more than the other?
I mean, I guess that would be a way to explain it or describe it. I think he was looking at it more pragmatically, where the relationships were these things that he needed to facilitate and maintain. And I think he was being more attentive at that time. And I think it was at Christine's behest, because that was the first argument that they had when she joined the family was, hey, you're not sharing your time equally. So I don't know if that's when the scheduling went into place or if that was part of that.
Maybe she was just really good at keeping him on track.
Well, I feel like
he had other influences.
Even earlier seasons of the show, you see that too, when she was calling him out to say, hey, we expect more from you. You can do this. It's not easy. This is part of the challenge of doing this, but this is why we chose this, and this is why we chose you. We need you to step up.
Yeah, he got real tired of that.
He got sick of hearing that.
He found that annoying.
I think so. Yeah, he was just looking for a pass, which Robyn was very quick to give those out to him.
This is another hard lesson for Christine because she watched other sister wives in other relationships, people take on a new sister wife, and she had a lot to say, being a person who hadn't had to experience that personally, about how that should work and how you should feel. And now she's experiencing it with Robyn, and she can't even take her own advice.
Feeling jealous is a choice. So I don't like that there's all of these things that Christine is basically saying it's her choice. No, if you feel a feeling, that's going to happen whether you choose to or not. You can choose how to respond to that feeling or how to react.
They really need a feeling wheel in this family, because also if they have a negative emotion, they go, okay, that must be jealousy.
And that's bad. Yeah, bad feeling.
And so we don't want to feel that.
So there's good feelings and there's bad feelings, and we only need to look at the good ones, ignore all the bad ones, don't pay any attention over here. That's not good.
No, there's not a lot of encouragement to identify a feeling and then understand where it's coming from. You need to stop thinking before you get to the point of figuring out where it's coming from, because otherwise you might open a bigger can of worms.
Yeah.
I got really annoyed that the rest of this chapter turns into an apology to Robyn.
I mean, for the most part, yeah, she feels guilty. Christine is very apologetic at the fact that she betrayed Robyn from the start before she even knew her.
Because she was all open arms and very welcoming and seemed like she sold the idea into Robyn about coming into the family. And then once it got to the point that the marriage was happening, now she's kind of gone back on it and has negative feelings about the entire thing and feels like she's taken it out on Robyn.
But again, it's a very stressful time in her life, because not only is she dealing with the marriage of Robyn and Kody, but they're filming the show. So this is a whole new change that has been implemented and a source of stress in their family. She also now has extreme postpartum depression, is how she described it, after giving birth to Truly.
And it turns out you can't just choose to be happy, and that's going to fix postpartum depression.
And also, yeah, throw some crippling jealousy into the mix now, too, of new wife and the issues that she's having with Robyn. I did like that she had called out, which this has a new meaning now, but I knew that Robyn and Kody deserved each other.
I highlighted that and put brackets around it so that I didn't miss it when we got here.
Don't miss that. That was the line of the chapter, I think, for me.
What an interesting choice of words.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that they deserved each other.
Well, because that was,
aged well.
Yes, that was the point where Christine was talking about how she had a stronger conviction for Robyn to join their family than when Christine was trying to decide if she was going to marry Kody.
I'm telling you, anytime Christine is pregnant, these babies are little oracles sending messages to her.
She's got it. Yeah, she's got the vision, the sight.
She wasn't wrong.
No, not at all.
You just kind of interpreted the message a little incorrectly.
A little loosey-goosey, yeah.
Thinking that it meant you were still in the picture, but really it just meant Kody and Robyn.
Ultimately.
Down the road, just the two of them.
Yeah, that's it.
Once again, she's feeling like she lost her identity. She's lost her best friend.
She wishes that Robyn,
abandoned.
Yeah, she wishes that Robyn sucked more. Like, if she could have been just like a little bit shittier, I could have just ignored her. You know, that would have been okay. But then also at the same time, Kody didn't deserve somebody who's shittier than Robyn, so he deserves the best of the best. So we got to go with that.
Doesn't Robyn force herself on Christine in a way? Not
whoa,
that
whoa,
way.
Whoa.
She talks about that, though, about how she was relentless in pursuing these friendships with these wives, even when they pushed her away.
Well, I guess we'll see if there's any recollection that Robyn has and what her take is on it in next week's chapter.
I'm just thinking it really wasn't possible for Christine to ignore her because she made it that way. Robyn ensured that you couldn't ignore her. And also, Kody didn't want you to ignore her, so now you can't.
It was part of Christine's identity crisis, though, too, was I think Robyn was coming in where she was trying to be the jack of all trades wife, And that was kind of stepping on a lot of Christine's territory.
I gotta tell you, I don't feel like this chapter is very authentic. And I hope that her next book actually tells us more about how she was feeling, because she doesn't even get into that. We're not talking about how Robyn came in and said, let me be the go-to gal, even though that was Christine's thing. She's expressing that she felt like she lost her identity, but she's not elaborating on why.
Well, then she starts taking that out on Kody, is how she interprets this. She begins to demand more of Kody, and he has less to give her at this time when he is courting Robyn.
No, he's being a shitty partner. He's a bad partner. You had a baby. You're going through postpartum depression. You already had a lot of stress in your life that you've tried to dial down, but now you have a newborn, and your husband is off spending time with another woman. That whole thing sucks.
But instead, Christine is wondering, why is it that nothing Kody does satisfies me? Why am I always upset with him? Why is nothing ever enough? Because it becomes her perception that, oh, it's me. I'm too needy. She flips this around. It becomes her fault.
I do think that Kody has said stuff like that to her, though, and it plays into even like in the beginning where Janelle talked about Christine having this princess personality and how they've labeled her within the family. It's like, you're the needy one who expects too much or is entitled to things.
Well, Christine goes through the whole learning lesson that she had where she was realizing sometimes her kids will nag her and annoy her with all these wants and needs of Pedialyte or water or whatever
An
it
ice
is.
chipper too.
Whatever it is. And sometimes she just sends them to their room, needs a little break there, and they get too annoying for her. It's overwhelming. And then she realized, oh no, that's what I'm doing with Kody, because I'm just a child who is constantly harassing and making demands of this poor man who is out gallivanting around trying to gain another wife right now.
But is the comparison there the point that if you need too much and you become overwhelming to this person, that they're going to punish you, even though you did nothing wrong by having a need?
I mean, if you have a need, like if you have a need and you're expressing it, I don't think that you should be punished in any way for that or blamed. I think it's mostly just the blame, because then that's what she's carrying around. It's my fault that Kody's not here because I'm annoying because I'm saying that I need all this stuff.
And I was mean to Robyn, and so there's no way that I'll ever be forgiven for that. Except by Robyn, who's a saint, who has forgiven me despite all of my flaws, which I do not deserve.
Between her and then Kody's overwhelming emotional maturity that he's achieved over the years now, too, Christine is feeling so supported by everyone in the family now, of course.
Oh, I cackled when she's explaining that. So because of the fact that she had to step back from a lot of the stuff she was doing before, that caused Kody to have to take on some more responsibility. And some of that was taking leadership roles in day-to-day concerns of things that used to be her obligations. So Kody's taken those things over.
Yeah, how's that going? Not too good.
The beginning of the end, I think we know. He's always tried to convince us that he wanted to be a leader, he deserved to be a leader, and that when he was a leader, he was doing it well. But there are so many examples where we clearly see that the wives were the ones running the show. There really wasn't a lot of leadership coming from him. And I think it's funny that this coincides with Robyn joining the family, because I could very much see her propping Kody up as, you need to be the patriarch of the family and we all need to fall in line and follow what it is you say we should be doing. So you need to start taking over those leadership roles.
Well, and at this point, Christine has been asking for, hey, I need less responsibility. I need less things to focus on because I am completely spread too thin. I am very overwhelmed. So I'm willing to accept any sort of assistance to cover these bases because I can't do it all. So Christine at this point is like, yes, I will gladly take a back seat to this.
Run this thing into the ground. I don't care anymore.
Good luck. Yeah. Like really, seriously, at this point.
Oh, I hate the way this ends though, because I feel a lack of stability in our relationship. I can only blame myself and my insecurities for this. I will get through this only when I've strengthened my relationship with God.
I like how her view is that if she gets right with God, then all of her jealousy will just disappear for Robyn, her resentment, any of her internalized emotions that she has, that she's carrying and harboring against Robyn and against Kody right now, that'll all just melt away. It'll go away magically through no other conversations, through no other exploration or addressing anything. No. That'll just go away. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then everything else will just fall into place. It'll work out.
Said very eloquently. It's a real fundy view of the world. And also, it kind of smells of desperation, where I've just given up at this point and give it to God.
Give it
Jesus,
to God.
take the wheel, because I've done everything I can to try to fix this relationship and figure out how I'm going to be happy in the long run. And at this point, I'm giving it all to you.
At this point, I would rather have Jesus take the wheel than Kody take the wheel. So
that's for sure.
If we're picking between those, if those are our only two options, slim pickings.
Something to reflect on the last sentence of this chapter. Of all of the examples of plural families I've seen, ours is truly the best.
Simply the best. do.
If that's the best that polygamy has to offer,
I don't know.
I'm not interested.
I think the Dargers are doing better at this point, just by comparison. And comparison is the thief of joy. We know that. But I would say at that point in time, I would argue that the Dargers are doing it better.
I'm going to need an entire chapter dedicated in her new book about what it was like writing this book of lies and deception.
I was thinking about she should go back and then it's just take an excerpt from this old chapter and then write a paragraph underneath it of, well, actually.
The story that I wrote at the time and then the truth of the matter.
Yeah, what was really going on. So she could probably take chunks of this book and just go ahead and parse that out and then give us the real story instead. And that would be worthwhile just in and of itself.
Sister Wives, a rewriting of history?
Something like that.
You think that would be a good title?
Sister Wife.
Sister Wife. Well, she's already got Sister Wife. Sister Wife Part 1, Sister Wife Part 2.
Oh, boy.
It's like,
is that what we're doing now?
Before we go, a few announcements. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcast, Surviving Reality, because we are gearing up to recap the new Netflix doc about The Biggest Loser. And I need everyone to understand my feelings about that show, because I have a lot to say.
Is that another train wreck, or is that just it's a Netflix
No, it's
doc?
like its own standalone documentary.
Because, man, Trainwreck has been pumping them out this summer. There's a ton of them now. Because we did Poop Cruise. I almost said we did Ocean Gate, but that wasn't a train wreck. I mean, it was a train wreck, but it was a different train wreck.
No, I was just thinking about the Osborne episode where they were just talking about how they didn't want to go on a cruise, that Kelly didn't want to go on a cruise because you can't poop.
You can't poop.
You can't poop when you're on a cruise.
And they were like, Kelly, it's for 2 weeks. You think that you're not going to poop for 2 weeks? Hey.
She knew something we didn't at the time.
She would have been ready. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.